If you've been on YouTube for any length of time, then you're likely aware of the popularity of commentary channels. These are channels that make videos often poking fun at other users on the platform, as well as weighing in on debates and topics, often with controversial opinions. The trademark style of this genre was largely popularized by one man, a man whose venture into this genre would change YouTube as a platform forever. I'm of course referring to the channel LeafyIsHere. If you're new to YouTube, that name may sound familiar to you, since you've probably heard about what happened to him recently. However, if you've been on YouTube for about the last 5 years, you are very familiar with that name, and it likely gives you flashbacks to a time when Leafy was the face of drama on YouTube, a true powerhouse on the platform with an army of young teenagers who followed his every word as if it were gospel. And of course, how all of that came crashing down. Now, before we get started, I'd first like to give a big shout out to EmpLemon, who made a video similar to this back in 2018. His video covers a lot of what the first half of this video talks about, and it's definitely way better than my video, so make sure to go check his video out if you have the chance. Links in the description. With all that out of the way, let's get into it. The rise, fall, return, and exile of LeafyIsHere. Leafy began uploading to his YouTube channel back in 2012. Somewhat ironically, Leafy's early videos were exactly the type of content he would come to make fun of in his later videos. By this I mean his early videos were pretty cringy. His videos consisted of Minecraft Let's Plays, a genre that even back then was extremely oversaturated. The videos were pretty much exactly what you would expect from a kid in 2012 trying to get YouTube famous from creating Minecraft videos. They were bad. Now, I'm not hating. Minecraft was the big thing at the time and everyone was making their own YouTube channels to try to capitalize on it. Even I started a Minecraft Let's Play around this time, and I'm sure those videos were worse than Leafy's. And if you can't look back on your old self and cringe, then you're not improving. I'm just stating the fact that looking back on these videos, they're bad. Leafy gained a small following from creating these videos, but not enough for him to be satisfied.
I thought I would do some 1v1s and record it and try to get a Let's Play up. So I'm just gonna go out. It shouldn't be as crazy as a lot of my other Let's Plays because it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody has school. Everybody has their shit to do. So not as many people on.
Leafy went through a period in 2014 and 2015 where he was experimenting with different types of videos, hoping that something would catch on. This led him to create his first rant videos. These videos consisted of Leafy complaining about a certain topic or idea. Videos like this did better than his previous videos, so he began to lean into it. That's when he had the idea to make the same style of video, but instead of editing it and making the actual video aspect entertaining, he would just film some gameplay of a random video game and put it in the background. The gameplay had nothing to do with what he was talking about, but it was just stimulating enough that the video wasn't boring. The type of games he picked were also very specific, since he most often picked games that were easy to watch and somewhat calming, like CS Surf or A Story About My Uncle. These gameplay rant videos were the first of their kind on YouTube, and because of this he began to develop a larger following. Throughout 2015, his channel began to grow exponentially, gaining hundreds of thousands of subscribers in just a few months. Throughout later 2015 and 2016, he pivoted his content away from rants about more general topics and instead began to create videos that were targeted at specific people, beginning with random kids playing video games and eventually moving to other creators on YouTube. This new content Leafy was creating was very angry, edgy, and cynical. Most of the videos were very negative, always discussing why something was bad. Leafy's energy was just consistently negative. So of course, his core fan base was made up of the group of people that are probably the angriest and edgiest, young teenage boys. Leafy's cutting jabs towards people and general cynicism towards most things was absolutely adored by his fan base, who latched on to his every word. Because of how passionate his fans were, Leafy had an army of kids backing him at all times, willing to do almost anything to make him happy. Thanks to this, any person Leafy made a video on was almost always immediately bombarded by his fans. Eventually, the YouTube channel Dramaalert, which covered drama on the platform, began to include Leafy in its videos, thanks to the reputation he was gaining for the actions of his fan base. This was the beginning of a friendship between the show's creator Keemstar and Leafy. Over the next few months, Leafy would be the topic of Dramaalert episodes pretty regularly, which was just more free promotion for his channel. Within only a year, Leafy had gone from a YouTube channel on the verge of death to one of the fastest growing channels on the platform. Leafy's sudden rise to fame was welcomed and celebrated by his fans, but not everyone on the platform was excited about Leafy's rise.
But this is my 200,000 subscriber special, which is a lot of people. And I just gotta say, when I first started out on YouTube about 3 years ago, I was uploading Fallout 3 videos, Minecraft videos, and I never ever thought I would get this f***ing big.
One of these people was Ethan from the channel H3H3 Productions. H3 released a video in early 2016 titled The Leafy Rant, in which he discussed the problems he had with Leafy. His main issues came from who Leafy was making fun of. He argued that Leafy only made fun of kids and people who were vulnerable. The reason Ethan felt so strongly about this is because his channel was very similar to Leafy's in that he also created videos making fun of people. The difference, he stated, was that he made fun of people who were deserving of it or were popular enough that they could take it, whereas Leafy often attacked channels that were very small and didn't deserve the type of hate they would receive. After this video was released, Leafy began to get a lot of hate for the first time in his career. Because of this, he immediately retaliated with a video titled The H3 Rant, in which he exposes Ethan for befriending him in the DMs and telling him he was proud of him and happy to see his success. These events were the catalyst for what would become the year of 2016. 2016 was a turning point in YouTube's history, in which YouTube drama became the biggest genre on the platform. Both Leafy and H3 were receiving lots of hate at the time, but it quickly died down because of the fact that the community now had another person to direct their hate towards. This person was Keemstar. Keemstar had always been a controversial figure, but it wasn't until up-and-coming YouTuber Idubbbz released his content cop on him that his controversies were fully recognized by the general public. This video was an attack on Keemstar of the likes the internet had never seen. It brutally tore into Keemstar with arguments and evidence of bad things he had done. It was so calculated and meticulously detailed that there was nothing Keemstar could even say to defend himself. It was sort of like the end of 8 Mile.
Here, tell these people something they don't know about me.
Now that the entire internet's focus was off of Leafy, he knew that he was in the clear. But at the same time, Keemstar was Leafy's friend. Keemstar had helped him grow since he was much smaller, giving him free promo and defending him whenever he was receiving hate. Leafy couldn't just remain silent while his friend was attacked by the internet, could he? No. Instead, he would create multiple videos in which he hopped on the Keemstar hate train and shamed him for all the same reasons as everyone else. Looks like Leafy was familiar with rule number 1 of YouTube drama. Always stick up for your friends, unless stabbing them in the back will make you look good and make you tons of money. After these videos, Leafy had reached his peak in terms of popularity. He had truly become a massive figure on the platform. At this point, it looked like Leafy was unstoppable. He had risen above the hate and had only increased in size in the process. However, as the old saying goes, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And boy oh boy, was that phrase truer than ever. September 16th, 2016. This was the date when Leafy's eventual fate was sealed. The day began the same as any other, no one knowing what was to come. Young Calvin just sitting at home, minding his own business. And that's when it dropped. Idubbbz had been working in secret for weeks on a Leafy content cop. The video was truly a hate campaign towards Leafy, the idea to give Leafy a taste of his own medicine. Idubbbz was gonna bully the bully. He did so by identifying Leafy's insecurity and attacking it. Through his research, he discovered that in every video or picture of Leafy, he always found a way to cover his chin. There were very few existing pictures of Leafy without his chin covered, and in those pictures it was clear that Leafy had a very weak chin. Just like that, Idubbbz had identified the weak point. The entire second half of the video was dedicated to making fun of Leafy's chin, ruthlessly attacking it and even starting the hashtag #NoChin. Leafy was once again in the spotlight of hate from the entire YouTube community, and this time there was no escaping it. This hate was persistent, and he would never truly recover. His videos began getting less and less views, though he would continue creating them for another full year. Then, in December of 2017, he would upload his last video. And just like that, as quickly as he had risen, LeafyIsHere had fallen. Fast forward 2 years. Leafy is still MIA, while Idubbbz is bigger than ever before, and the platform has changed a lot in those 2 years. YouTube has cracked down heavily on channels that make edgier content. Family friendly is the new way YouTube is promoting themselves. Even though they created a platform designed for children, they still feel as though YouTube needs less adult content. This is a landscape that was partially caused by people like Leafy, since users like him being as popular as they were portray YouTube as a place that allows negativity to thrive. The adpocalypse meant many less advertisers on YouTube out of fear that their ads would end up on videos that were controversial or made them look bad. Because of this, YouTube's new guidelines are much stricter, banning videos that promote harassment or hate speech. These additions meant any pre-existing or new video that YouTube feels violates this rule is deleted. This means that the Leafy content cop is removed from YouTube. Many are outraged, claiming YouTube is silencing anyone that they don't agree with. When all this was happening, I remember thinking, it's a good thing Leafy quit when he did. Someone like him would never be able to survive in the current climate. Well, this was all before March of 2020. It was near the end of March that another controversy involving Idubbbz would shake up YouTube. This time, however, he was the butt of the joke. Idubbbz' girlfriend announced on Twitter that she was creating an OnlyFans, which if you somehow don't know what OnlyFans is, it's a platform that functions in the same way as Patreon, with a monthly subscription service to your favorite creators. The difference is OnlyFans is designed and is most often used for sexual purposes, meaning anything from lewd pictures and videos to amateur adult videos. The timing for this announcement probably could not have been worse, because it just so happened to coincide with the peak of a meme that targets guys who are willing to do anything for a girl, the simp meme. So for the next month, Idubbbz received constant hate and ridicule, since many now saw him as a simp. After seeing all this, a certain someone decided it was the perfect time to rise once again. Can you guess who it was? If you said Leafy, then you have basic inferential skills and would be correct. Leafy's return began on March 31st with a video simply titled Idubbbz. In the video, a clip plays of Idubbbz saying he doesn't care about other dudes seeing his girlfriend, to which Leafy simply responds, "You're a cuck." Just like that, Leafy was back as if he had never left. He would slowly begin to start uploading consistently once again, being the same old Leafy. He would reheat the old beefs he had with H3 and Keemstar, as well as create some new ones, and went straight back to roasting anyone and everyone in his trademark way. He was back to being the same Leafy we knew 2 years ago, and he continued like this for nearly another 5 months. This time, it appeared as if he was here to stay. Remember how I mentioned all that stuff about YouTube's changing policies and how they are much more critical of any sort of edgy content? Well, keep that in mind coming up. Leafy was once again doing well on YouTube. His videos were getting more views than ever, and he seemed set for the long haul. That's when the Pokimane videos started. Pokimane is a streamer on Twitch who is known for being the most popular female streamer on the platform. She also has a history of copyright striking YouTube videos that contain clips from her streams. Many people believe this is very hypocritical, since Pokimane herself spends a good portion of her stream sitting there and watching other people's videos in front of her average audience of 15,000 people. Leafy's first video on Pokimane addressed this point. Now, this seems like a pretty reasonable thing to say, and a pretty fair criticism. In fact, it doesn't sound like the way Leafy would approach a situation like this at all. I'd expect him to just call her ugly or something. I guess Leafy really has changed. Maybe this is the first step into a new way of living for Leafy. Maybe now his videos will be rational attack on people's actions rather than the person themselves. Maybe he'll become more positive and tell his fans to put their negative energy towards something positive. Maybe he'll even apologize to all the content creators he has targeted and ripped apart in the past. This really could be Leafy's redemption story, where he came back to YouTube a changed man. Oh wait, he made 11 more videos about Pokimane over the span of 2 months, in which he makes fun of Pokimane's appearance in the thumbnail and title, including calling her ugly in the majority of the videos. Isn't there a word for when you repeatedly harass someone? I swear, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Oh, I remember. It's called... On August 21st, 2020, the LeafyIsHere YouTube channel was officially and permanently banned from the platform, cited with a violation of YouTube TOS, specifically the rules against targeted harassment and bullying. Leafy's ban has led to a wide variety of responses from the community, with many celebrating his ban and many protesting it. Now, to go off on a bit of a rant, I personally believe that if you are a content creator on YouTube, you should only have one opinion on this. No matter how much you hate Leafy, his ban should frighten you. Leafy was banned from the platform with absolutely zero formal warnings or strikes on his channel for creating videos in which he didn't threaten anyone and he didn't recite hate speech or make false accusations towards anyone. He was banned for repeatedly making fun of a person, something many creators have done in the past. A ban like this creates a slippery slope, since YouTube has set the precedent that they can ban someone solely because they don't like their content. They could easily expand their definition of harassment to mean whatever they want it to mean, so that they can ban specific channels that they don't agree with. It truly is frightening. It's funny, because when Leafy quit YouTube at first, it was theorized that the content cop isn't what killed his channel, it was YouTube themselves. The graph showed Leafy actually began a sudden and steady decline in daily subscribers shortly before the content cop was released, with that trend continuing steadily up until he left. In the 2 years following Leafy's exit, if you searched for LeafyIsHere on YouTube, his channel wouldn't even show up, only people talking about him. It seemed obvious to many that Leafy's channel was killed not by Idubbbz, but by YouTube themselves, quietly and discreetly as to not cause a greater controversy. It's as if a hitman had attempted to assassinate an evil king. They slipped some poison into his drink so as to never be caught. Then he was thought to have died. But wait, right before he was laid to rest, he awoke in his coffin and returned stronger and more evil than ever. The hitman was angry. They decided enough is enough. This has gone on for too long. The king is on a stroll through his kingdom, all his people out watching him walk. The hitman walks right up to him and places a weapon to his forehead and fires. The evil king is finally dead, and the people are outraged, immediately turning to the hitman. They want to attack him, but who's gonna attack the man holding a weapon? Instead, he simply walks away, living to do the same another day. Leafy's YouTube career has ended up being one of the most convoluted and absurd in recent memory, and his legacy will likely leave lasting impressions on the platform as a whole. Whether you love him or hate him, you have to admit that his influence is seen all over the platform, whether that be for the better or worse. He's likely the last creator of his kind we will ever see, and that in itself garners some amount of respect from me. Since this script is already 10 pages in MLA format, I think it's fair to say we need to wrap it up. So in conclusion, that was the rise, fall, return, and exile of LeafyIsHere.
Pokimane isn't even attractive. There's really no other way of saying it. She's just not hot, dude. I'm not saying that to fuck with her. I'm not even saying it to fuck with you guys. She's just really not hot.